Luke McQueen. I'm the Global Marketing Manager for FreeRoad, a Korean startup. And so first of all, thank you so much for having us present to you in Japan. It's an honor to be a part of this event. So today's agenda, very simple. We're just going to have a little introduction about FreeRoad, and we're going to talk a little bit about our technology, which is facial recognition. It's called Face Eye Pay. And then we'll go over a few use cases. We'll talk a little bit about the technology and architecture, and then we're going to have a summary over this. So, first of all, FreeRoad was established in October of 2015 with 5 employees, so we're pretty new, pretty small. Our CEO is Hoon Chae, and we partner with KTB Solutions, which the presentation that you saw earlier. So, what is facial recognition? Well, it's really about the 3 different component technologies. And so the first is facial recognition, and the second is deep learning, and the third is payment authentication. And so really simply put, Face Eye Pay is the ability to be able to do payment through leveraging your face or biometrics. So the first component is facial recognition. Well, what is it? If you're not familiar with this, it's very simple. You detect a face and a particular image, so some type of unstructured input. Then you're able to normalize that data, extract some of the information from this particular image to be able to compare it to others, and that's really the third kind of thing that happens here. Our second major component is deep learning, and this is really kind of springs forth from big data and machine learning. But it's really the artificial intelligence that comes out for the facial recognition feature here. It's actually leveraged for a whole host of other things, but in our case, it's facial recognition. So what deep learning is typically it's multi-layers of algorithms that you use to process this information, and it can be accurate or less or more accurate depending on the quality of your algorithms. So these algorithms are also dynamic, and that's what's really the learning part of this. So they're able to potentially, you can train these particular layers to be able to A, learn what's happening at the time, and then B, you can also maybe feed a human input in there as well to be able to really train the system appropriately. And then deep learning, the deep part really means that there's 2 or more of these sort of component layers that are leveraged. There's something called very deep, which is actually about 10 layers deep. And finally, our third component that we leverage is that Face Eye Pay leverages. We have patent pending technology on this piece, and we deliver a user-friendly experience for ATM withdrawals or transfers and point-of-sale systems for our retail customers. And then we have custom payment integration as well as an option for those who are interested in figuring out what else can be done with this and additional use cases that we're not initially doing. Initially, speaking of, we are doing this for iPhone, tablet, and for smartphone initially. So that's what Face Eye Pay will be today in our alpha phase. All right, so let's talk a little bit about deep learning. So in general, there's a huge amount of investment going into this. All of the major software vendors, you've got the e-commerce platforms throwing money at R&D for this, because ultimately it does come to the bottom line. These algorithms, everyone knows that's really, the quality of your product is actually the quality of your algorithms. And so even media companies like Spotify and Netflix use them for their recommendation engines. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some use cases. The first use case, let's talk about, so I happen to be here in Japan. My best friend is named Arito, so I figured I'd put him in this presentation. So Arito here needs to pay for a bunch of business associates who are in from let's say, Korea. And he must pay for them. And so, but unfortunately, he forgot all his wallets, smartphone, credit card, cash. He has nothing to work with. So what's he going to do? Well, actually, in this case, Arito gets to save face. And what he gets to do is go to the ATM and actually pull out money directly because of leveraging just his face. And so, well, the funny thing is, Jiro's Sushi Dream, the restaurant that they were at, decides to talk as well. And they say, instead of going to the ATM, you could have actually paid right here. How'd that happen? So the answer is, the use case number 2 is that the restaurant themselves could have a point of sale Face iPay system as well. So you could have just paid here, Arito-san, and then Arito-san's like, ah, snap. Good to know, restaurant that talks. Okay, so use case number 3. So retail service enhancement. So Rurito, after dinner, decides that he wants to go shop a little bit. So anyhow, he goes to a retail establishment. Their camera spies Rurito, automatically runs a facial authentication on him. And then if there happens to be a match, and from a marketing standpoint he's opted in, then a customer history displays for the sales associate who happens to be there at the time. And so they get a name, they get some information on what has been purchased in the past. So the sales associate then approaches Arito and says, hello, Mr. Arito, or Arito-san. Let me help you with this. I've actually realized that you just purchased a bag, and we have some wonderful accessories here that could work. So it's a really great, wonderful opportunity for cross-selling and upselling. So Arito is a happy customer. All right, so a little bit more about the process. Sort of kind of a refresher, but we authenticate via the camera. We'll authenticate the face when the customer visits the store. And then the display of history shows up on, in this case it would probably be a smartphone or tablet application for the retail associate. And then Arito thinks that's a nice thing, that they actually know who they are. But if the customer is unregistered, then we can actually do the registration there as well. Once the customer has decided to buy something, then because they're already registered with Face iPay, they're able to actually leverage the registration already and just leave with just their face. And so the payment is in process, product information displays to the sales associate who gives an authorization for it, and then payment approval is done right there. So again, everything happened. There was no exchange of credit card or cash. It was just biometrics and authorizations. All right, so we foresee retail shops could easily see increases of 2,000 to 3,000 yen per month based on the fact that they've enhanced their service in their retail establishments. So the next area is, this is actually sort of an addendum to what I just spoke about, but beacon technology, which is a Bluetooth-enabled device, extended range, which allows you to basically deliver small messages to the end user or to a customer that's locally aware. And so the beacon provides store information. It might be something like, there are some jeans that are being sold at this retail establishment, and a customer walks by this beacon that's right by these jeans, and then suddenly out pops up this 20% off these jeans that you happen to be right next to. And that might push that customer to buy things. So actually the opportunity is huge in terms of retail being able to leverage this. And Face iPay is a part of this, the system is part of the beacon process as well. All right, so technology and architecture. This is just a little bit, the simple overview is there's a smartphone or a dedicated tablet that's leveraged. Then we'll have our smart software, which is leveraged on those devices. Then the more robust and efficient method of that would be sort of including the software and then the hardware, so the OS would need a PC laptop for this as well. And then it would be leveraging our cloud-based system, which brings me to the next point. So the architecture here really leverages, in this case it's just the smartphone or the tablet, actually. And so in real time, the face is authenticated. It is sent back into the Face iPay cloud system. The authentication begins to occur. Behind that, which is underpinning that technology, is big data as well as deep learning. And then a database is leveraged for the matching profiles. So there's obviously needs to be storage for that. And when there's a response, the answer is yes or no. Is this user recognized? Then obviously we make a determination within the application what to do. Create a new user, or yes, they've matched, so payment authorization can occur. So another kind of way to see this is, so it's as simply put as, here's an image, we go ahead and detect that image, that it exists, we're able to see the feature. It actually kind of, I'll actually show you in another slide the feature quality. And then you extract those features, you do some database matching and comparisons, and then you can say yes or no on the authorization and payment. So highlighted in the blue there is sort of just the specific deep learning piece of that. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the precision of our facial recognition engine. And so one of the cool things about that is that you can have glasses, no glasses, and it will provide a match. You can have different angles, a side angle, tilted upward or downward, still there will be a match. You can have a change of expression on your face, and still there will be a match. And then you can even partially obscure some of the facial features, and there will still be a match. So it's a really powerful system that is approaching the quality of an individual that might see that picture and be able to compare the two. So there's, I'm going to skip the demonstration in this case. So let's just go through the summary. For the target markets, we're targeting retail and e-commerce and banking, so banking and finance. And so with retail, it's really just about facial authentication and easy payment. For e-commerce, we're talking about passwordless login and being able to do some online payments that way. With finance and banking, we're talking about transfers and withdrawals, be able to actually get cash out leveraging just your biometric or your facial features. And so, in summary, our initial products that we are looking to bring to the market are Face iPay ATM. This one is for banking and finance. The point of sale system, which would be mostly for retail, hotel and hospitality, or restaurants as well. And then the iPay login for e-commerce systems. And then, of course, there'll be the consumer model of the Face iPay version as well. And then, one of the other additional things is that we can provide a custom solution as well. So we have obviously use cases that we haven't considered and that would really be more benefit to you. And so we provide some custom solutions as well. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate being able to present this to you. Arigatou gozaimasu.